Mhm.
I went through my own issues where I was battling with my weight as I grew up. It's all there in my book, Who Wants to Marry Kaiju Jussawalla.
If just you and I had to talk, then we could have done it anywhere. But the whole point is that you and I talk, and then we make others listen to this so that
Right,
so they get inspired. Maybe one little thing they pick up from the conversation and that helps them change their life. So, this is what it
right.
is. What is your go to comfort read?
I would, I should not say, I would like Archie comics.
Okay, fine, cool. Why not? Hi, Kainaz, and welcome to the About Her show. This is a show where we
I,
get trailblazing women to share the story of their lives with us, to tell us about the challenges that they may have faced, ups and downs, everything about their life. And while we get them to showcase themselves, we're also hoping to inspire other women who are listening in who have dreams and ambitions, but for one reason or the other are not able to get to them, right? And then we also get men on the show who champion these trailblazing women. So, you being a trailblazer in your space, we extend a warm welcome to you and let's get started. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Sangeeta. If you're calling me a trailblazer is, I don't think I've been called that before, though I've labeled that for myself. So thanks for that. And I'm really
You are
looking
one.
forward to doing your show. Yeah, you're the first one.
So, I'm
I'm
looking
blazing
forward.
people's trails, but I'm not trails. So that's a good one.
All right. So fine. So just like an icebreaker, so can you tell us a little bit about your journey, your early life, and if you think if any of your experiences from those days shaped your
Yeah.
personality and helped you become, what you are today?
I think it's a lot to do with childhood. I think everyone today, whatever they are, I think is a lot to do with their early life. I mean, it's like what it's been. My journey has been, I think, I won't say unique because everyone feels their journey is unique,
Mm-hmm.
but it has shaped me a lot. My childhood, my younger years, my teen years have been. Though people don't remember it at home and they say, oh, you had a very happy childhood.
Hmm.
It's never like that. It's always what you carry, you know. So, what you show to the world and what you've actually been through are two different things.
Hmm.
And I went through quite a few challenges in my childhood, besides being, of course, touchwood from a great family and having all the everything that one would want and dream of.
Hmm.
I went through my own issues where I was battling with my weight as I grew up. Maybe when you're 5, 7, 8, you don't realize. But then when you grow until a 10 year or 11, 12, 13, and you start, reaching your teenage years, then
Yeah.
you realize a lot of people are looking at you in a very different way.
Hmm.
And we have body shaming as of today, as or a body mocking now, but that time, we didn't have those kind of words or that kind of thing where you're aware that people are, and someone teases you today, you can literally turn back and say you can't do this or you can't do that. We've got terms for this:
Yeah.
ages, sexes, body shame. Those days it's like, they're just making fun of you. What's the big deal?
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
it is such a big deal. It was such a big deal because I everyone carries their self-worth initially in their physical appearance. We don't we don't have this thing, oh, I'm a spiritual person and I'm one. It doesn't work that way when you're younger.
No,
When you're
no.
younger, you're seeing yourself in the mirror and you're like, what is so wrong with me that people are not connecting with me, people are turning their back from me. When I walk, people are sniggering at me, they are poking fun at me, and I know it's happening. And why am I so different? Just because I'm slightly healthier than all of you. It's not like I wasn't like to that extent that I was so bad.
Hmm.
But for some reason, even in school, I had so many challenges where it was a Catholic school and people have such beautiful memories of school. But
Yeah.
I don't have those beautiful memories. I wish I had something with school which I could say, you know what, that was a wonderful day. I don't remember a single wonderful day because even when I took part in contests, singing contests, I used to sing, and I know I was a great voice, but I never got the prize. And I'm like, I think I was better than that one. So
Yeah.
it was either because a Catholic girl got it or a person who was better looking. I don't know what it was, but I always felt that there was this, and I always blamed it on because I said, what else is different?
Yeah.
Okay, what else could be different? It has to be me, my shape. It's
Mm,
not me as a person. I was lively and bubbly, but I wasn't like in the face. So I wasn't irritating. At least I don't think I was. So
mm,
these factors, they really, even as to go to family, it's all there in my book, Who Wants to Marry Kainaz Jussawalla.
mm,
I've written about it and I've spoken about in my childhood where even family friends, we would enter their house and these kids who are maybe older than me or the same age, they would suddenly sit and whisper to each other. And I'm like, what are they whispering about me? What
mm.
have I done? And I'm 13, I'm 14. At
Yeah,
13, 14, you're like confused. You're like, what is wrong with me? So
correct.
I understood that maybe it's my hairstyle or they laughed at the way I was dressing. I have no idea. But these things really got to me a lot and it made me very self-conscious. It probably
Mm,
was a kick on my confidence. But luckily for me, I had another side of confidence, which I would probably come into later, where my grandmother was always she was my rock and she built me up. And she said, they're just jealous. You're the princess. You're beautiful. So you always had someone balancing it. So I was lucky, touch wood that way. But apart from that, it was just quite miserable, like Humpty Dumpty and all sorts of elephant and Hathi men. I mean, honestly, it was such a big deal. And it's a big deal when you're younger.
it
Today,
is.
how we are shaped doesn't make a difference at all. Like, I really don't care if I'm 5 or 10 more at
Mm,
all. But then it does matter. It does matter a lot,
yes.
and then you'll notice the boys come in and, like, this guy doesn't like me because I'm like that. And these
Mm,
things come in. I went through a lot and it kind of shaped me so much that finally I did everything to rebel when I was in college. I became super rebellious. All
mm,
my relationships that were there after that was all about, I guess, attention, because I realized, oh, you know what, it's not that bad. I'm getting so much male attention. So it happens that way, that you go through so many relationships because you are trying to, get that validation from
mm,
someone,
true.
the opposite sex. So, as so
Mm,
that's how it really shaped me. And then finally it shaped a book, which I think finally everything is a blessing in disguise. Those days it doesn't look like that, but I think it just made me a person that is there today, where I can write, I can talk about it,
yeah.
and I can literally tell those people on the face who've done that, like, where are you today and where am I? So I think it was more about that justice that I wanted for myself, finally, which I kind of got it. So,
But don't you think, when now, of course, on hindsight, of course, we can say that. And when you were going through, totally understand it must have been so traumatic for you. But, now today, when you look at it and, you look at the journey, then probably all of those experiences, as you said, are the reason why and how you are who you are today. Because
yeah,
probably if you had a life which was all hunky dory and, nothing really major happening in that sense, maybe you would not have become
never.
who you are today. Like I
Yeah.
always say that, you live life forwards, but you always understand it backwards. It's when you
Yeah,
look at it,
always. That is so true. So
right?
true. You
So,
always understand backwards. Yeah.
yeah, so there was a reason. And if you had to become famous today and well known and a trailblazing woman, you had to go through all those challenges.
Yes, absolutely. I had to. I had to. I don't think I would now want to turn back time,
Yeah.
as one you wanted to, but now I realize that it all this just happened because, now, as you said, you understand it only backwards when you get into life. Right. Yeah.
So tell me, Kainaz, of course, these were the challenges which you faced because of the way you felt you looked and because of the way people looked at you. But you think it was also because you were a girl? Did those challenges have anything to do with your gender, or even later for that matter, later on in life? Did you face any challenges because of your gender?
I would like to say yes, but I haven't really thought about that. I don't think it was a girl boy issue, to be
Mhm.
honest. I think even if I was a guy, it would have happened because guys get dragged as much
Yeah.
by their peers.
Hmm.
In fact, quite a lot. In fact, it gets worse. It gets physical as well in schools and colleges. So I don't think that it was gender.
Hmm.
But I, I still feel that even in my close surroundings, in the family, if I say something, it's not taken as seriously as probably if my brother said something, which
Okay.
is very strange because very open-minded. We're not at all, stuck in any conventional. We are obviously very open-minded people, but I have that even today. But I felt like if maybe he came with a complaint, somewhere it would have been taken seriously than a woman. Oh, she's just doing drama, or she's just being herself. I do feel that in my close environment, and I still feel it even as of today. I do feel that, when he says, this has to be done, it's like he said it. If I say it 10 times, it's like, oh God, she's going on. So yeah,
Hmm.
I think it's deeply rooted in us. It's deeply rooted in everyone. No matter how open-minded you are, you kind of take a man seriously more than a woman. Even today, like I'm talking about drivers or your own people who you're working with. If a man says the same thing, they are on full alert. The respect is like, Saab ne bola. If I
Right.
say like, baby ne bola, baby ne bolti rahegi, oh, it's not, it's
Yeah.
like baby. I'm like, I'm not baby,
Hmm.
like like I'm I'm the older one, like, but
Hmm.
it doesn't, it's just that way. That is the way they see you, especially if you're single.
Yeah.
Especially if you're single.
Yeah.
Again, if you're married to the man, then you become like, okay, you know what? It's a more of that respect ki shaadi kiya. The single girl,
Hmm.
ऐसी है इधर जाते उधर जाते. I get that from everyone, and it's even today. Imagine like in this day and age where I'm staying,
Hmm.
it's ridiculous. If I tell this to people, they are like, what rubbish, ऐसा नहीं होता है. Of course it happens. I can see it happening.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
yeah, the gender bias exists from your own circle, I feel.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I
there's no
agree.
need to, yeah, yeah,
I agree.
yeah,
It does in some form or the other. And even if you're married, then it is the husband's word, which matters.
yeah, yeah,
So it is
yeah.
there, like
Oh,
you said, it is so deep rooted. It
yeah,
is as if it's in our bones that it is like,
right.
I mean, there is no way that it can come out. Like they say, you have to, maybe raise your boys. But even if you do that, the society around you is such
Yeah,
that, still something or the other will make them think that, they are superior
yes.
or whatever. So, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
it
yeah,
is.
absolutely. I agree with you. And that happens everywhere. Go to a restaurant, let a man make a same thing and the woman do. The
Yeah.
waiters will think the man is going to now, close down the restaurant. But the
Huh.
woman, like, होता है इधर भी होता है सब बाजू होता है. We
So,
are looking at smaller places where people are not very open, but it's happening even here.
yeah,
Like to
correct.
a place where like where I stay, like I mean it's supposed to be all this, but I've noticed the smallest things.
Hmm.
You just can't let it get to you because then I start thinking of the small things. I'm like, why did he say that? Why was the guy like, right from an auto wala cab guy? Once I was in a cab and I was talking to a friend of mine and this guy was obviously not taking. I said, he said, आप चुप रहो, मैं सांप से बात कर रहा हूँ.
Oh,
आप चुप रहो, हाँ, तो अब मैं सांप से बात कर रहा हूँ. I'm
wow.
like, what does, I am talking to you. What do you
Yeah,
mean आप सांप से बात करोगे? Like
right,
literally it was
right.
below his dignity, the Uber guy, to talk to me
Hmm.
because
Hmm.
obviously I was making the noise because he was taking us for a merry ride. And
Yeah.
men don't want to get into anything. They're like, let it be. It's not
Huh.
let it be. Why should I let it be? We women always want to raise a voice.
Yes, yes, yes.
More than a man, I think we always want to raise a voice. Maybe because we realize things are wrong. We want to address wrong, right?
Right,
So
right.
yeah, yeah,
Hmm. So
yeah.
tell me, you were mentioning your grandmother, and you were saying that she had a very critical role to play in your life in terms of maybe balancing out what you were facing and being that rock who you needed while you were growing up. So,
Yeah.
could you tell us a bit more about her and how she inspired you and helped you?
Yeah, she was like this far figure. She was like, I can't, a pillar of strength, a rock, everything that you can, soulmate, best friend, everything into one.
Yeah. Okay.
She was so progressive.
Hmm.
For a grandmother, she was so progressive. She had these, she would not bat an eyelid if I did anything. Like
Okay.
I would tell her, today I met so and I did that. And she was like, Acha, what you all did, like literally, like what you did, let me also know what's going on in this world, let me also know. So
Hmm.
she was always had this first ear to everything. I don't think my parents knew, even when during my memoir, my parents read the book and I think, well, this must fiction, no? I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. It's a memoir. But of course, she knew quite a lot of these stories. And whenever I had a relationship, she would be the first person I would go and meet her and introduce. And she would not even, she would just sit there. And it was like, she would look at their faces and say, you know, she would just look at she would just sit there and just stare at them and then she would offer them their food and feed them up nicely because she was a big feeder and then she would say like something like never trust a man or something to me and those guys would be squirming. There was a line which I'm trying to remember.
Hmm.
uh, Men are deceivers ever, yes, men
Okay.
are deceivers She loves the quotes. I said, please quote something. No, that's her big show. Let's quote, because she will quote everything like from Shakespeare, Kipling, Keats. So she
Hmm.
will be like, "Men are deceivers ever, one foot at sea and the other at shore. To one thing constant never." And I'm like, he's gonna run away. You're not supposed to do that.
Yeah.
Like, say something better, like on love or romantic. Nothing is coming out right now. Only this came out. I'm like, God, there goes another one. Tick box. Like, you just like right there. But very kind, loving. You know how it is. A presence of older woman. People will come from everywhere. Very nurturing. Very soft.
Hmm.
Very. She was like totally opposite from what I am. I'm loud and full of this. And she used to be patient. She said, everything comes when you don't raise your voice, when you observe.
Hmm.
And when you raise your voice, it's not for the wrong or right, but don't raise your voice when you're angry. Observe, be
Hmm.
in control, use this, the willpower, and you'll get anything.
Yeah.
Like everything comes at the right time. You know how we are. We are always in a hurry. I'm
Yeah.
always like, what's the next best thing? For her, it was it'll all come. But you got to be calm. You got to be calm. That kind of us. So we were always like this. But there was no clash. It was always like this. So that was fun because and she shaped my career. She wanted me to be an author.
Okay.
From day one, she was like, when are you writing that book? When are you writing that book? But I was flying for a long time. So I was like, when you're flying all over the world. You're not thinking of writing books then. And she said,
Yeah.
I'm waiting for that book. I'm waiting for your book.
Hmm.
Because I would tell her all these stories. And she's like, really? I'm like, no, that was a lie. She's like, you're so good, right? Write in a book. Everything was a fake. I used to give her these stories about this, that. So
Hmm.
she shaped me a lot. And then she was there in my childhood. She would say, you're my princess and, you deserve the best. And, things
Sounds.
that reinforce you,
Yeah.
they reinforce you. So tomorrow, even if you're stuck, you remember these words of,
Yes. Yes.
and you realize that, what, it's okay. Someone believed in me at some point.
Yes.
Someone believed in me. And that's really important. I think a
Absolutely.
lot
I
of us
think
have that with our grandparents
this is,
also.
I think, what she was trying to do also, isn't it? Because in her own way, she was trying to make up for all that was not right, in terms of what she
Exactly,
was saying. So,
exactly. Yeah,
you don't always have to say, or you don't have to spell out the reason as to why you're doing something. Adults
yeah,
have ways. So
yeah.
maybe she was doing this for that reason. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So all like I used to call up in the night, this one said this, and this has happened at home, and this one, and she'd be like, yeah, yeah, it'll get better. It'll just get better. I'm sure it'll get better,
Yeah.
things like that. I mean, what else can an older lady say, right? I mean,
Right.
that's
Right.
all she could do because she was finally on a wheelchair. You can't do much, but that doesn't matter. It's all that matters is someone's listening to you and someone believes in you. I
Correct.
think that's important. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So tell me, Kainaz, of course, writing books, and of course, you're an author, a published author, and such a well known person. So tell me, anyone who is aspiring to be an author, what are the
yeah,
three most important things that come to your mind? The tips, the
yeah.
three important tips, or which are just, top of your mind when you want to tell people how to get into this space.
Firstly, of course, I would say that I never thought that you should write according to what people want to read. I
Okay.
always felt you write from inside, but I've realized that if to be commercial, you've got to see what the pulse of the readers is.
Hmm.
You write something that is just because you feel so good about it. Like I'm writing about my spectacles. Nobody wants to know. Maybe there's
Right.
something else that people really want to know. So write something that is actually trending, or at least it's relatable. Write
Okay.
relatable content. Yeah, so someone can relate. Maybe I'm not into spooky stuff, but there are lots of people who are into spooky stuff.
Right.
So write something that is a specific genre. Secondly, must get an agent. We all, I have so many authors. They just write. I'm writing a book. How to send to publisher. You can't send books to publishers. You can't. They're not going to look at you. They're not
Right.
going to give you the
Right.
time of day.
I agree.
The best of authors, the best, they all have agents.
Yeah.
Best of them, 90%. Even the ones that are top authors, they will never tell you, which I've
Yes.
discovered recently. But
Okay.
they've got agents yeah, they've got agents, but we'd never know about it because we always feel, that they've got a high-end top eight publisher, so they must be, oh, they've done 7 books best-selling, but they all mostly have agents.
Okay.
Most of them, they need that. So always get an agent. In my case, of course, the book makers, but I think get an agent who's really approachable and
Yeah.
also who can, who says yes to your book and doesn't want to change you too much. I
Yeah.
had an agent, which I'll come to later, who was just wanted to change everything about me and
Okay.
my book. And that's a stifling. That's a
Yes.
stifling. To
Hmm.
get somebody who's open, who's, or I would say who's open to your ideas, and then, who pitches your book
Yeah.
and helps you out. So that's secondly, to get an agent. Don't try it on your own. Don't self-publish is also an option. I don't look down upon it.
Hmm.
My first book, I had done that with Crosswords
Okay.
because I had nowhere else. I didn't know better. So
Hmm.
of course, when you don't know better, you just go to the first thing that you do. It did really well, and they did a very good job, no doubt.
Hmm.
But it was Crosswords again, so the brand kind of
Yeah.
mattered.
Yeah.
So it's okay. You can do that as well, but try not to, just say that I can do it on my own and the publisher will. You'll be sending it all your life. I think that's the second thing. That get an agent and get it. Even if you have to pay a bit, no problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
I
worth
agree.
it. It's worth everything. It's worth. You're going to pay for self-publishing anyways, or whatever you do. So
Yeah.
you're going to sit it with book. So that's the second thing. And I don't know. Third one I would say is that. Don't copy styles. I've noticed a lot of people they kind of now chat gpt comes, so you really, it's like, people are writing books with ai. It's just ridiculous, but
It is. It is.
okay, I mean, whatever. I have a friend who's written 15 books. I'm
Oh.
like, every month, how are you bringing a book? You're not 30
Oh my God.
I'm like, how are you bringing a book every month? Then I realized, come on, look at the language. You can
Yeah.
make out the person speaking and the language. It can't be so different. It
Yeah.
just can't. It
It
just
can.
can't.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
So please be original and write. Don't start copying anyone, even in your marketing stuff. Don't pick up people's ideas and do it. Then you look stupid.
Right.
I've got so many times I've been so frustrated because the moment I make a reel, an author reel, I see somebody else doing similar stuff, and I'm like,
Yeah.
why? Stop
Right.
it. Like, I can't take it when people start, be original. That's your, be your personality. So that's, I think, the third
It
thing that,
can't be. So you're inspiring them in that way.
yeah, but I don't like it. I'm like, God, I've taken so much of work to do this.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. I see that. All right.
yeah.
So, Kanaz, of course, we all have our personal and our professional lives, but I feel that as women, more is expected out of us, as compared to men. So, men have it easy when they have to balance the two, whereas women are always, like always at sea or always trying to, it becomes a great challenge for them. So, what do you have to say about it, or how do you do this in your life?
So it's women have to do two things, right? They have to be something in life. They have to bring in the money. Nowadays, everyone's working.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
come and they have to do the whole home routine with their in-laws, with their children, and men are not expected to do it. If they do it, great. You're very happy that you have a man who's helping you out. But
Hmm.
they're not expected to do laundry. You're not expected to have a clean house. You're not expected to sit and, make two meals. You're not, it's like, okay, it's a bonus if he's, oh, hey, you know what? He cooks also. I mean, so what do you mean he cooks also? Oh, you know what? He actually, today he put the clothes in the washing machine. Matlab, he has two hands, he will put it in the washing machine. Where else is he going to put it? On the
Right.
stove? Like, like things like that. So women have it's and nobody even compliments a woman. I think the hardest job in the world, forget what we are doing, is to actually be a housemaker. I think it is really, I truly, 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 my heart goes out to people who
Right.
are, because they don't get credit, they don't get paid,
Hmm.
and they don't get anything. It's not like someone's giving you an award for, doing your chores and saying, okay, you know what, I finished it in a day. They're just exhausted and nobody's giving you a clap, nobody's giving you any kind of recognition. And women themselves say, so what? It's my duty.
Yeah.
Why? Yeah, oh, it's my duty, I would have done it but I do it out of love. Okay, I understand you do it out of love, but
Hmm.
it's not your duty. It's not just your duty.
Hmm.
Let's
Hmm.
keep it that way. It's not just your duty. And this is especially these, not nuclear but joint families, like bahu ne aaj ye nahi kiya, bahu ne, I mean, what is all this? Like, where are we even going with this? Bahu ne ye, and it's so outdated and it's just so expected. But
Yeah.
when a jamai or a son-in-law goes home, you have to see like how people are treated. My son-in-law came home, he brought me chocolates. Matlab kya? So what is that about? Like your daughter is sitting and slogging her ass off all day, and he
Huh.
brought you chocolate.
Hmm.
So you're all, all over the place. So this is something that, but Sangeeta, these things exist. I don't know if it is our country primarily. I have to say, because I've traveled and flying. My crew, my British crew. They don't talk like that. They
Hmm.
don't say, my husband today, he made a lovely roast for me, or, no, he is going to do that. If
Yeah,
you come home tired from a flight, your husband's going to have food on the table. The kids are going to be taken care of.
yeah,
He is going to, they don't have maids, they don't have anyone to do anything for them. So who else
exactly.
is doing it?
Hmm.
Also, here we have house help, right? So it's like a bit of, you take it for granted that if it's not the woman, then the maid will do it or whatever. So
Hmm.
I feel this kind of inequality exists. In my case, I would not. I am very clear. I don't cook. I'm
Hmm.
not going to do your crap, so you don't like, So I'm not married, so that's a great thing. But if I was married, also, I would do it. Listen, I wouldn't would I expect the other person to do as much,
Yeah.
as much. You are the breadwinner, but you'll break bread with me as well. Sorry, that's
Yeah.
not going to be a, you know. So yeah,
So I think, I like you said, of course, society is to be blamed because that's the way things have always been. But somewhere I think we women also need to, like ask for help, not think that it is our duty, like you said. It's not your duty. Yes, I think it's joint. I mean, if there is a husband and there is a wife, there is a father and there is a mother, it's their joint responsibility.
yeah,
So both of
yeah,
them have to do it. Of course, ups and downs, and of course I did more and you did less is a different thing,
yeah,
but it's not as though it is only the woman's duty or responsibility to
yeah,
do these
yeah,
things. Men have
yeah.
to chip in, and we women also have to, like you said, we have to make it known that we want that help, and you should do it. Yeah.
Yeah, of course you should. You should ask for it. You should do it, and you should make very clear that I'm not doing this. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, but you do it, and like, I mean, how many times you hear your friends and say, I still pick up his socks, I still pick up his towel. Why can't he be neat?
Yeah,
What is
exactly.
there? What has happened? Why can't you pick up something and put it? I mean, what is there? Is it going to hurt your arm? Like, you're on the phone all the time. You can't do that much. I mean, please, like, I mean, it's just this whole duty thing has, I think, been totally distorted. And people are mixing up duty and love together. And it's not even love, it's not even duty. It's just like, because women can't, mostly, men are also OCD, but women can't stand things lying over the place. We have this thing of, doing things. And so before anybody does it, we want to do it. Otherwise, we suffer because they weren't going to do it. They leave the socks for 5 days on the floor,
Yeah, yeah.
literally. So we are really going to do that. That's it. So that's another. So I think men have a knack of knowing this about women, and then they take full advantage of it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Why not? If you have somebody who
yeah,
will do it, then you will.
yeah, exactly, exactly.
Okay. So, Kana's ups and downs, setbacks are a part of everyone's life. We all go through them. But then, of course, we have to pull ourselves up and move on. So, how do you typically deal with something like this when you are faced with a situation that's not so nice, that's a disappointment, or like I said, a setback?
Uh, I think I react. I just react. I don't respond. I react. I
Okay.
don't want to sit and it'll fester for a while, but until I say something that's bothering me, I'm not going to keep. I won't be at peace.
Okay.
I've become a bit better now. I've started holding myself back now because I know that certain things when you say it kind of spoils the situation. So
Mm,
I do take a step back and I see, okay, Kainas, don't react,
mm,
wait,
mm,
and then maybe just take a bit of this. But I won't take nonsense. I can't take injustice. This is my problem. Like any kind of injustice where I feel that uh it's okay if it's a mistake, it's okay if it's your friends, but any kind of injustice which is done deliberately or intentionally,
mm.
I just give it. I will not mince my words now. I just will not. Like, yeah, especially if I see something done to someone else. I have a big because I've been bullied. Like if I see anything happening around me, I kind of I take up a cause. I'm like always in the middle of taking up some cause. Okay, chalo, you know, let's do it. Especially around me, my close circle. I remember my nephew was hardly 2.5, and he was in the nursery, and I think he got. I think the teacher, like put him in a different class and kind of shamed him. It's 2.5. He doesn't remember.
Yeah.
But I was so livid that day, I remember. I just backed my this and I wanted to get to that nursery and take that teacher and give her a whack. Like literally, I get so annoyed and angry. And my sister was like, no, don't do that because now he's going to get admission to another school. And
Yeah.
let's not spoil this 2.5, 3 years because then you go and the other schools won't take them, just
Yeah.
don't do it. But
Mm.
for me, my first reaction is like, go and just fight it out, like literally, like my blood boils. So
Hmm.
yeah, I deal with things on the face. I'm going to deal with it on the face. I'm not going to take crap from no one. No, that's not me. But work wise, I must say that because of work wise, I've realized I have to keep a bit quiet because you have to balance out. You can't upset if I start speaking about things that are upsetting me, where my books are concerned, authors concerned, this one, that one, then I don't think I will survive this industry. So
Hmm.
I've learned to hold on and say that when the time comes, you
Yeah,
give your answer. But you have to be at the place to give that answer.
true,
And
true.
I think, yeah, and that is something when you're now going to be publishing, hopefully soon,
Hmm.
you will also realize there are certain things that you will not be able to take. There are certain things you'll want to say,
Hmm.
but you've got to wait for the right time. You've
Right.
got to wait till you are in a position to say it. So
Correct.
you got to be, yeah. So be strategic about your battles. I think I would say that. So I think I've learned that, and that's what I do. Yeah. Now I do that. Finally. Yeah.
So, Kainaz, the young girls of today, I mean, we also grew up in times which were different from the ones in which our mothers grew up. And, every generation is exposed to different kinds of challenges and, what have you. So, with the kind of environment in which these girls are growing up today, what advice would you like to give them? I mean, girls who are on the threshold of their personal and professional lives, what would you like to tell them?
So I don't know if I can really give that kind of advice, but for personal life, I would say that please take your time for your personal lives, your love lives, your marriage life. Do not jump into anything
Hmm.
as fast our generation or our mothers and fathers' generation did.
Hmm.
I because I know that when my generation did that at 23, 24, 25, today they are so many of them are so unhappy. They wish they had waited. They
Hmm.
are finding their partners, people who they really connect with now at this age and stage, which they've lost their connection. So it's very rare. Tell the younger girls, since we are going to that very rare that if you get married early, you will really grow together. Very often, you don't grow together with your partner. You don't.
You don't.
Okay, people change, right? We all change. I mean, not necessarily that I will change the way my partner is going to change, and then you just grow apart, or then you start. Unfortunately, you have an adulterous relationship, or you're miserable, or you want to leave, or you get depressed. So it's not what it looks, firstly. Nothing, love is not what it looks. I mean, I'm not cynical. I love love. I always want to be in love. But it's not, it's like once the momentum, once the rush kind of fades away, which
Yeah,
it does.
which is
Unfortunately, sadly, it does. Especially when you get married and you're living with somebody, and then you see them brushing their teeth, or hear them snoring, or you get the first bad breath in the morning. Then you realize that love is not all about fresh air, and it's not the smell of roses anymore.
right.
Huh?
So true. Yes. Yeah.
गुलाब के फूल नहीं है अभी अभी तो बस यही है. So
Uh,
you realize what you're stuck with, and then you just carry on because obviously you're not going to leave for these reasons.
hmm.
So and slowly, of course, when the routine sets in and the children come in, then it's a totally different ball game. Totally different ball
Yeah.
game. Unfortunately, men are not. For them, they feel बच्चे आ गए, and the
Hmm.
woman is too busy with their children. So
Hmm.
that gives me a right to now, you know, uh, not look but get attention from somewhere else. How
Hmm.
is it possible to leave attention from your children and give it to you? I
Yeah.
was on one of these groups, and one lady wrote. It was really bad that she wrote that her husband, who she loved so much for 35 years,
Hmm.
she has two kids, and now he's done. He really loves her still, but he went out with a younger woman, and he's very sorry, etc. But she
Hmm.
still wants to make it work. And
Hmm.
the women on the group were still, saying, "Oh, but," and she abused him, and she was violent with him, and they're like, "What you did was deliberate. What he did was not." I said, "Of course, what he did was deliberate.
Of course
Is
it
he
was.
a 5-year-old child who didn't know what he's doing?
Of
Did
course.
someone hold him at gunpoint and say you have to do this? No, he did it for so many months.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hello, come on, please, all this crap." I'm like, women were actually saying that,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is,
And
it was a women's group. And I'm like, I never write because I don't want to be a part of any of this controversies. I don't like it. But I said, girl, it's not your fault. And if you're violent why were you abusive and violent? I said, you are all right to be violent. Have every right to be abusive. You want to whack the asshole for the next 10 years, do it. But he deserves it, do it. You
Yeah.
know, if you
Yeah.
want to make your marriage work, hit him and make it work. He's very sorry and all. Let him be as sorry as he wants. Did he tell you or did you find out? I found out. Okay, that's the first thing. Oh,
Yeah.
he's very okay. He did that. You want to make it work, but then women are actually telling her that he must have just slipped. What do you mean slip? Was it a banana peel that you just slipped? What the
Yeah.
hell? How can you even say that to a woman? You should
Yes.
say, "Great, clap for
Absolutely.
you." Great clap for you. Slap him to shit if you have to. It's okay. You have every right to do that.
Yeah.
If you have, so it's just a case of 25, 30 years married and you get bored and you want some excitement. The woman has to be with the children. There's no excitement mostly, and for the man, he's in the office. It was his secretary or whoever or the
Mhm.
office colleague. So obviously he has more access to it than
Yeah.
her. Tomorrow, if she went there, she can have access too if she wants to,
Yeah.
and women do it. So the younger, back to this question, to tell them that don't rush into love, don't do that. Go
Mm.
around with somebody, or if you have to live in with that person to see their lifestyle, their habits,
Yeah.
meet your future in-laws a few times to know what they're all about. Even
Right.
if you stay away from them, they are going to be part of your life. We are marrying families. We are not only marrying each other. So you've got to know, and you'll be surprised how, in-laws think. Even if they have their own daughters,
Mm.
they will always treat the daughter-in-law quite differently. Most of the time they do that, right? So you have to know what you're getting into. So a lot of this new generation have started talking about not believing in marriage. I'm not saying don't believe in it, but at least take your time before you're jumping into anything. I think this is so important. And you've got to work. You have to be independent. Be financially independent. Once you're financially independent, I know it's a very jaded thing. People say women have to, but have some pocket money, and please don't do joint accounts. Please don't do your account joint with him.
Yeah.
Tomorrow that you clear everything and go and you will not even know. It's happened to people. I know that. Suddenly the account is gone. Like they're like, where's the money? Because you're joint with him.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
no need to then, give your whole, there's no need to give your details. Till you kind of, that you've settled in properly with the man.
Yeah.
So I think 30s, keep in your 30s, keep it like mid 30s. Then again, it's the rush of having children, expectations ke bachcha hi. Not necessarily you can have a good life without children. Today, kids are not going to look after you. If
Mhm.
this generation is like that, imagine the next to next.
Yeah.
The
Yeah. Yeah.
kids are not, yeah.
Correct.
So so that, and professional life, as I said, get out there and don't think that anything is limiting you. You can be whatever you want to be.
I agree.
Even in a male-dominated office, you can be what you want to be. The way, if you assert yourself, if you voice, if the right people are there, they will take you seriously. You have to. You have to make a place for yourself. Then don't complain. Don't complain. They did this to me. Voice it out.
Yeah.
Voice it out. And do it. I think that is very important to do that. But as an author, I don't know. I never knew there was a disparity. I
Mm.
did not know till I spoke to a few women authors, and they say men authors get more in terms of um, their payments, advance payments than women. So obviously, even a male author is taken more seriously than a woman, which I was very surprised to hear from them.
So am I actually, because I don't think, writing, it involves the same amount of effort. It has got nothing to do with gender,
Yeah,
but I guess like with every other thing,
yeah.
there
Since we
also.
said we are authors, right? It's like something to address. I've
Hmm.
heard this. I don't know. I don't ask people how much they got. I don't care. But I've heard these from like I'm talking about sources where they've said that these are best-selling authors who've said that the men have got more than what we have got, which just shows like I mean
Wow.
how why
Right.
just imagine that like these are two things that are absolutely equal in
Yes.
terms of
I
women and men. I
agree.
mean
Mm-hmm.
yeah, efforts go into it. Everything goes into it. We may be even better writers, I would say. You know.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
Okay.
So that's I think one thing that yeah, equal pay, equal work. I believe that the actresses also have the same problem. Celebrity actresses get less than their male counterparts. So it's I think it's everywhere, even in that kind of environment. Yeah.
So actually, this connects with my next question, that despite whatever progress we may have made, you know,
Yeah.
every walk of life, but there are these gender biases which women continue to face. Despite all the education, awareness, everything that's happening, there's still, so like you said, equal pay, equal work, it's still not happening. There is a lot of, discrimination that's happening. So, which is like, Surprising. I mean, and we're not talking of, tier 2, tier 3 cities. This is happening in the big cities too. And
Absolutely. Yeah.
I really wonder, how long it will be, before, or will it ever happen that this inequality will completely disappear? So it is, yes, these biases, I think, continue to plague us.
Continue playing us totally. Yeah. They
Yeah.
do. It's
Tell
very
me,
sad actually.
and of course, now we are working towards this, and I think a lot of men also are, working in this area and trying to, narrow down this difference. So, what role do you think platforms like these, where women come and speak, where they have conversations about these kind of things, what role do you think these platforms can play in helping to, narrow down this gap or this, difference between men and women?
Depends which platforms you're talking about. Okay, there are
Something like
certain
what we are
platforms.
on right now.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, so long as a lot of people watch it and
Yeah.
it sticks with at least a few people, that is great.
Mm.
Some platforms are just I don't have like when you go to literary festivals, just an
Yeah.
example.
Mm.
There are conversations that go on. Okay, they go on. I catch myself wondering that once we get back, how
Mm.
much have people taken home? How much are they going to implement?
Mm.
So
Mm.
any platform needs to have a certain presence, like
Yeah.
yours does,
Mhm.
or somewhere where uh, not just because we want to be seen in a festival and we are selling our books. No, nothing works there. I mean, unfortunately, I've seen that happen. We talk about it. Even things like newspaper columns, people read, people are becoming more aware. Social media is now firing, like this recent Kolkata case.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have Barkha and everybody, Kamojo, everybody's covering it. Everyone's really, really taking it up. On late nights, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, they've been covering live events and things like, which is really good. I feel that because of social media, we are able to know really what's going on, right? In these type of cases. So
Mm.
I think having a platform like that really truly helps.
Mm.
Something that is strong like yours or anyone who is being heard, not just for the sake of talking, but two women who really believe in the same thing. We
Mm.
are going the same path of things. So I think that really does. Apart from that, there are a lot of groups also which are, sorry to say, but they're just gone groups. I feel they just make groups and they just want to talk, but it's all about being seen, you
Yeah.
know, and that really upsets me. Like literally, like I would refuse to even be a part of those things. It ends up being a little bit of a kiddie party eventually, and
Yeah.
that really makes me really mad. I've
Mm.
seen women groups who we've been a part of, and suddenly now they're having lunches and they've forgotten why they met in the first place.
Mm.
Or
Mm.
people start these social organizations, but they're not so they're social for
So,
socializing.
yes.
It's
Yeah.
not social organization for anyone. Oh, we for the betterment of women. But what are you doing to make the women better? You're not going into the grassroots. You're doing nothing. Like literally, you're only giving your opinions. Your opinions are cheap. They're not going to count.
Right. Right.
So something like this, where I guess it's a podcast which is going to be all over well Spotify, and yeah, so that is something that is a lot of people want. It'll go down in time, and I
Yeah.
think it's just wonderful to be a part of it. I've seen a lot of your work, a couple of things, and it's been really. I think it's been great. I think the way that your questions,
Mm.
your the presentation, and you really ask deep, meaningful questions to people, and that really kind of you bring the guest out of their comfort zone, and I think that is a very good trait of a talk show host.
Thank you.
I
Thank you.
think yeah, I'm hoping to see a lot of more seasons of yours,
Well, so
and I'm sure that it will continue. No, no, it will. It's good. I've enjoyed it. I don't say yes to talk shows very often.
okay.
I know I don't like them much, to be honest. But I've seen yours and I wanted to be a part of it. I immediately told you that, yeah,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
let's do this. Let's do this.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Actually, I do feel, that when we get together with a sense of purpose,
Yes.
and we not only get together, but we make effort to move ahead on that path, it is going to make a difference, even if it's like a drop on the ocean. But like they say, every drop counts. So, but at
Yeah.
least do the drop. Don't just
Yeah.
do it. Like I said, I told you initially that if just you and I had to talk, then we could have done it anywhere. But the whole point is that you and I talk, and then we make others listen to this so that
Right.
they get inspired. Maybe one little thing they pick up from the conversation and that helps them change their life. So this is what it
Right.
is. That's
Yeah.
the whole point. So this platform, and of course others like it, I think that's the whole reason behind them.
Yeah. And the beauty is, see, we don't have to meet, but we can talk like that.
Yeah,
Where
yeah,
does it happen? In the last few years, this has picked up so much, Zoom and Insta Live.
yeah.
Otherwise, you have to go, who will travel? Like you're in Delhi, right?
Gurgaon,
I
yeah.
mean, where would we ever, yeah, where would we ever meet? Like, to have a
Absolutely.
you have to, and the time aside to go and meet somebody, it doesn't happen.
No,
This
it
is so
doesn't.
much more, yeah, yeah.
So, Kenaz, another thing, there's a lot of conversation happening around mental health nowadays. People are becoming aware and accepting and admitting that there are these kind of issues that plague people. So, do you think women's mental health is getting as much attention as men's? Because I think women have more issues to deal with than men. I mean, I'm not saying that they don't have, they do. But do you think
Yeah.
women's mental health is getting as much attention?
I think this whole, I think this whole new, the last couple of years, this menopause has become a very big word.
Hmm.
Okay, it's a very
Yeah.
big word. Menopause, menopause. Before there was nothing. I mean, I don't think our parents menopause ho gaya. But
Hmm.
why were they behaving erratically at times? Unfortunately, we never know कि वो किट कर रही है. But it's
Correct.
not that. Now we realize, right, that I myself find myself, we all like going through so many things, changes, not only body but mind. And suddenly, one day you're on a high, the other day you're down. I'm like, do I really have an issue?
Yeah.
And trust me, it's still like your elders will say menopause ho raha hai, but it's not. It's mentally also.
Yeah.
You're mentally also dealing with things. It's not physical.
No,
It's
no.
not just, oh, you know what, aa gaya, and we're not. No, it's like you're dealing with 10 other things coming with it.
Hmm.
Okay, hot flush is one of them, but everyone has different symptoms.
Yeah, yeah.
So I feel like in India, especially, we need to address this a lot more than what we are doing, because women go through a lot of hormonal imbalances and changes through their life. In their 20s, 30s, 40s, your body is completely different. In
Yeah.
your 40s, your body will not be what it was 30. When you're 50, cross 50, it will never be back to what it was. You have to work out more, you have to look after yourself more. Even men have to, they have
Yeah.
their own cardiac things to deal with. But you have to be more fit. Unfortunately, now a man with let's say a pot belly is not going to be that much of he still think he's a stud, but we
Yeah.
put on weight and it's like, what, ho gaya, she's become a little bit more this. So this happens, but I feel with the mental, I'm totally for it. I feel like one should really truly get out there and speak about mental health absolutely openly,
Yeah.
whatever you're going through. If I write that, if I'm not feeling good, I'm not feeling good. I'm not going to show you, oh, everything is hunky dory in my world. Do I do that? I also write so often, what you see is not what I am 24 hours.
Absolutely.
No, 24/7. What you see is for a minute on the reel,
Yeah.
2 minutes of post, 10 minutes of blog, and that's it. I'll probably shut my phone and start bawling. You will never know.
I won't know.
So the only way to get over this is we all need to talk about it openly. You
Right.
know what? This is bothering me. That is bothering me. It's okay. I'm not ashamed of it. I'm
Hmm.
not ashamed of having any kind of a mental. I mean, I myself can say that I had, or I could say that I went through it in phases, and we all do. We all have anxiety, depression, all sorts of things. So I respect women who actually come out and say, you know what, I'm going through this really hard time, and I'm going through a lot. So I think I won't say that it's men's mental health is talked more about, but we need to have it equally. If not, I think mental health in general should be addressed. Simple, men, women, everything.
True. True.
And I think, yeah, we should. It should come out, because the amount of people who are thinking of taking their lives. And my book, for I don't know, for some reason people have come up and said, you saved our life. I'm like, how did our books? Then no, we read how your life was, and we realized that if you can go get through all this, maybe we can also get through it.
So
Now I
that's
didn't yeah, and like you saved us, you made us think, you made us feel that think you someone like you can go through this, and you are feeling, you've come out with, I've said everything in the open, right? I
hmm.
was like this, I felt like doing this to myself, I threw a glass, I felt like. So I think that really helps. So I think it's very important to address everything in your life. I think it's only thing is, unfortunately, again, Sangeeta, when you put too much out there, remember there'll always be people to take advantage of the situation.
So true.
So you've got to keep a balance. Yeah.
That is so important. You have to know where to say what and how much. Because like you said, people can take advantage. I mean, if you show too much of vulnerability also, while it is
Yeah.
good in one
What do you
sense,
think? Yeah.
but when you don't,
Totally.
you
Yeah.
don't.
Exactly. I agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why we don't. No, that's why we don't. That's why
Yeah.
we always
Yeah.
show our good side. No?
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
know vulnerability. People will clap for you, but tomorrow, if you have some work thing related, they'll say, you know what? She's a mess. Don't call her.
Yes, 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 absolutely. They'll start judging you. So, which is where then it kind of negates the whole thing. And
Yeah.
they will
Yeah.
probably think I
Exactly.
shouldn't have. I shouldn't
I
have.
shouldn't have. I
Yeah,
shouldn't have. So the fear comes from even the people are doing that. The society has made it so impossible for you to be vulnerable.
correct.
And even when men are concerned, I mean, they don't show that. Women show their vulnerability, I
Sure.
must say.
Very
Men
true.
really don't. They don't show how they are really feeling.
Mm,
And I think if men are taught to actually show how they are feeling about certain things, we would have a lot of better environment to live in. You'll be
absolutely.
surprised how much they would also come up with.
Yes, of course. They keep everything inside, bottled up
Yeah,
inside, and that's not good at all.
not
Yeah.
at all. Look at the health issues then that follow. Yeah.
So, kind of digressing a little bit from this. So, I see this a lot, and I've done this myself, which I call midlife rebooting, where after having done something for a number of years, you decide to switch gears and
Yeah.
switch to something
Yeah.
else. So
Yeah.
while I continue to do what I was doing, I mean, I teach at the university, so I continue to do that. But then I've got into other things like writing and podcasting and, lots of other stuff. I'm also back into academics. I'm doing my PhD. Um, so like I said, this I call it midlife rebooting. So what are your views on it? I mean, is it that earlier people didn't have interests and passions, or they didn't have the courage to
I
uh,
never thought I was doing rebooting. I never called it midlife because I'm in serious age denial. Okay. Like serious. Okay. The timelines of my book have been changed, but to what extent only the editor knows.
okay.
Yeah. I'm sure the
Okay.
agent knows as well, but they all play along. It's like, let's play along with our little game of being young.
Okay.
But I didn't know I was doing the midlife rebooting, but I just switched career tracks like this.
Huh.
I was flying for 2 decades, almost two
Okay.
decades.
Hmm.
And I was thinking of leaving and just writing, you
Hmm.
know. I won't say I had enough. I had a lovely time. There's no doubt. I had a beautiful journey as a flight attendant for international airlines,
Hmm.
and I traveled a lot and had beautiful, lovely crew and friends and everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I would I would take my laptop, I would work when I was in London. I was enjoying that part of life. And
Hmm.
when COVID happened, I think it made me think.
Hmm.
And I said, if I don't do it now, I'll never do it.
Right.
If I don't put myself 100% in something, then you're always 50 here and 50 there. This
True.
was for me. Okay, because I don't think I realized that while flying, I wasn't able to do 100% here.
Okay. Hmm.
So I said, I'm not going to give up writing. I mean, obviously, I've tasted a bit of a success with my first book. I'm not going to give that up. So the second book got, and then I just switched. I switched careers like this. So I left flying, which is a lucrative job,
Hmm.
to writing, which is
No.
which is a
So look.
which is a job for the millionaires. You could say only if you're a millionaire you can be a writer. Others you just cannot be a writer. Okay, it's like you have to have another job to be a writer. Like there's not honestly. Okay, I
Yes.
mean no way. So I did that. I just like I was surprised. I said, you know what? I'm just going to take the plunge. Jo
Hmm.
hona hai ho, kar leti hu. Let me see.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
left my work overnight. I mean, a little bit of thinking I was planning, but it was like, chalo, ho gaya, I can't do it anymore. So 20 years of a career switched. So this was, I mean, now we're calling it midlife, but I would say, yeah, midlife reboot, changed my entire path,
Huh.
made new contacts, new friends, learned new things because what you learn here is nothing like what you learn there.
Absolutely.
So I was in a non-competitive world. Okay, there was no competition. You go on a flight, nobody's showing who can do the best service. Nobody cares. Like finish the work and let's go home. Let's go to the
Yeah.
hotels.
Yeah.
There was
True.
no competition. There were no awards. There was no like I'm trying to be the best. Nothing. But
Mm.
here it's like, I won't say cutthroat, but everyone's trying to prove themselves. Everyone's trying to market themselves. You know,
Yeah.
you have to be out there. If you're an introvert, it's quite hard actually. So I
Right.
totally changed. I couldn't stand Facebook, or I didn't even know what Facebook was. I was
Mm.
like, I'll never be on Facebook and social media. I had to bite my tongue, get on everything, and now I'm like, I try to be as super active as possible. It's a bit embarrassing also because all the time you're just posting of yourself and you're like, people will be thinking I'm so vain. Like, wow, I'm obsessed. Look, I literally seem sometimes self-obsessed. I'm like, how self-obsessed am I? And I keep putting my things there, but you have to
You
because,
have to do
you
it. You
know,
don't have a choice there.
there's no choice. There's no choice. So full reboot from being a social media, anti-social media to totally for it. And that is a big step because I have to make reels. You have to constantly kind of know what's going on, what's trending. I do that. And even dealing with people, I think I've never dealt with difficult people. It was a big change for me. It was a big change. You think, like, I know, like, customers are not hard. Like, you meet them for 10 minutes, 15
Yeah,
minutes. Here
yeah.
you have to be with people. So publishers, I had another agent before ours, before Suhel Mathur.
Mm.
And oh my God, I had it was a different person to deal with. I had to deal with that, a lot of things. So I think midlife rebooting would be finding self-confidence. And
Yes.
you have to find, that was me. I was always confident, but
Mm.
I think I just came out of my whole zone. And today when people see me, they're like, Kainas, you were always meant to do this. You were
Yeah.
always meant to be this. I
Uh,
don't think I was there, but I think my life started. I think a lot of my life started now. I feel like now is the time where I can really bloom. And I mean, it looks in the age wise, it's late in the day, but in my mind, I feel like, yeah, now is the time.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
think a lot of
So,
people are also doing it because of that only. Because I always feel that sometimes, you've chosen professions at a young age when you didn't know much about life and you just went by whatever was said to you by
yeah.
your teachers,
Yes.
parents. And then somewhere down the line, 15, 20 years
Yeah.
of having done that, you realize that this is not
Who
the
I
only
am.
thing I want to do. I want to do
Yeah.
something else with my life.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I feel, these are the careers that you pick up in your late 30s, early 40s or whatever are just filling up those gaps, making you a
Yes.
more,
Yeah.
fulfilled
Rounded person.
person, enriched
Yes.
person. I think,
Yes. Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. You're looking for enrichment now rather than enrichment
Yes.
now. Totally.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
True. Well said.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So can I ask the final question that where do you see yourself? I mean, maybe 5 years, 10 years as a professional in your personal professional lives, both. Where do you see? I mean, what kind of aspirations do you have?
Uh, I would love to say some really grand things, but I
See?
realize that whenever we plan something, it's just like we don't know what will happen. I'm not much of a person who plans. I'll be honest with you. I kind of realize that when I have planned things, it is not, and it doesn't live up to that, then I'm disappointed. So
Hmm.
I'll do my best every day. I'll do
Okay.
my best. I'll give my best every day. I don't see, personally, I just look at myself as someone being a good human being, continuing this path of honesty, ethics. I've got a bit of a irritatingly high benchmark for honesty, ethics. So I kind of follow that, and I'm hoping that I keep going. I'm hoping I don't sell myself short or sell my soul, to people who think, oh, what's the shortcut? ऐसा बना दो, वैसा बना दो, ऐसे पैसे भर के ऐसे कर दो. I
Hmm.
don't want to do that. I've got a lot of temptations offers. I'm not into that. There are people who don't mind. I don't, that's fine, but I can't do that personally. So I hope I'm like that. I hope I'm not uh I won't say what I want to do. I hope I'm never that greedy or never that not a greedy, over ambitious to do things that will hurt somebody and get there. I
Yeah.
just hope that I continue being the person I am. And I think it's worked till now. And anytime I've tried to do even this much, I'm talking about this much, huh?
Hmm.
इतना भी तेरा तो ना मेरे ऊपर इतना it comes on me so badly. I'm like, God is like, यार, you're not meant for this. Just
You're not.
forget it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Just leave it. It's not you. I can't be thick-skinned. That's not me. So I hope that personally I can just be the good person. I run I have an initiative called Be a Friend, which is a seniors community. We go and entertain and seniors. We spend time with the seniors. So I hope that this community kind of expands in a way that we can do more for the seniors and the elders of our community. And yeah, I'd like to always help people. That's just, I'm, as a person, I like helping. I'm a little over compassionate at times, so I like doing that. So I hope that I can do more of it. Professionally, uh, I mean, best selling or not best selling author,
Mm.
it's not, it's not going to rock my world. I'll
Yeah.
be honest with you.
Okay.
It's not going to do that. I'm not interested in the numbers game. If
Mm.
people have read my book and five people have said things like, oh, that saved my life, I think I'm set.
Yes.
I'm happy. It's something has made a difference. So I'd like to be that person who doesn't take it so seriously that I am, I'll be, I'm going to just kill for it. No, it's
Mm.
going to happen. I know it's going to happen. I know that it will happen. I'm pretty sure that good things can happen to good people. I just hope that, and I hope I'm healthy. Personally, I think we all wish that for
That's
ourselves. Health. We just need to be healthy mentally and physically. And as a professional, no, I don't. I see myself. Can I do I see myself like one of the most famous authors? I mean, it's all destiny. For me, it is. I'll do my best and
yes. I
then
think
leave it.
that's what we
I'll
can do.
leave the
That's
rest.
we
Leave
should.
the rest. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Manifest,
Totally.
do our best, and then leave it after
Yeah.
that.
Leave the rest. And I hope I to inspire younger people. I feel the youth have connected a lot with my book, this book. Not people in the 40s, but more than that, the 20s. I
Okay.
think they feel because a lot of in the 20s. My book has been written in the 20 of my 20s, my girlfriends and support. So a lot of youth. So I hope that youth continue connecting with me. I like spending time with those. They look at to somebody. I like that energy. So I hope that I can do that as well. I do hope that. Yeah.
I'm
Fighting
sure.
a cause for someone who's younger and always the protector. So yeah.
All right. So all the best. And now
Thank you. Thank you.
we come to the last part, which is the rapid fire round. Five
Great.
questions, five quick answers. Right?
Okay, quick answer.
The first one. What is your go-to comfort read?
Go to comfort read. I would I should not say, I would like Archie comics.
Okay, fine, cool. Why not? Yeah, that is comfort. Okay, next. If you were to write a book about your life, what would the title be?
Okay, it's already written Who Wants to Marry Kai Jussawalla, but
Uh,
I would like to change it to Uninhibited.
all right. Okay,
Or
fine.
Badass Woman. The Badass Woman, yeah. Badass. I think Badass is good.
That is okay, fine.
Yeah, Badass.
Next. One book you think everyone should read.
I did read I think Paramahansa Yogananda, that autobiography of Yogi, really is a very deep book and easy to read. I think everyone should read it to kind of tap into their spiritual side and see the other side of life. I
All
think
right.
autobiography of Yogi, yeah. They should. I think so.
Okay. So the next one. What's been that most memorable moment from your career as a writer which you cherish?
There's so many memorable moments.
Mm.
Um, there are so many I cannot tell you, but one that first came at the top of mind was my Delhi book launch for this book. I went to Delhi and nothing was happening in Bombay. One of the actresses, she backed out of my launch, and I was so disturbed because suddenly someone backs out in Mumbai, the Mumbai launch. So I went to Delhi for literary fest, and Kabir Bedi happened to be there
Okay.
just a couple of hours before, and I was so happy that he was there. I messaged and asked him. I said, please, can you do my launch? I'm just after you. There's me. And fortunately, because of connect I have, he said, okay, we'll do it. And then he launched my book just,
Okay.
at the literary fest. And it was the first time that my memoir came out. It was
Mm.
really heartening to see that. It was very memorable because it really happened like it was like stars aligning, one
Yeah.
big disappointment, and then this just happened overnight. And my friends from, I don't know from where all they were, one happened to be in Gurgaon, one came with me from Mumbai, and the same friends I've written about in the book. They just
Oh,
happened to be at the same place, same time, and they attended the launch. And it was just, it was one of the most memorable times. That's top of the head, I'm getting that right now. So yeah, it was
memorable.
definitely. Yeah.
And the last one. One thing people might be surprised to learn about you.
Oh God, I gotta say that. People are going to hate me.
Mm.
Surprised to learn. Okay.
Uh,
Yeah, I'm a vegetarian. I'm a Parsi and I'm a vegetarian.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
all right.
And I'm not into animals. People love animals, but I am a vegetarian in spite of that, which
Okay.
is really strange. People find that really strange because I'm not a dog lover, animal lover, but
Mhm.
I'm a hardcore vegetarian, and I believe that one should not harm any living creature.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's a bit of thing. Yeah, yeah.
So fine. So that brings us to the end of the conversation. And I mean, I have no
I can
words.
ask you one more thing. I don't like meeting too many people.
All
That's
right.
another thing.
Fine. Okay. All right. So yeah,
Thank you so much.
about to say an extremely delightful conversation. And I was actually expecting and hoping that it would be because, like I said, reading about you and knowing about you, it did seem that it would be something like this. So, yeah, and extremely inspiring too, I think, because you've touched deeply upon a number of topics, and people who listen, they will, there'll be a lot of take home for them. So, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank
And
you so much for inviting me, Sangeeta. It was thoroughly enjoyable. And as I've said before, I don't like doing too many chat shows. It's like just a few
uh,
because then it becomes like a much for me as well. And I said I don't like meeting people in general, but it was really lovely to catch up and to do it. And definitely, I hope to see you someday in
yes,
person,
yes, absolutely.
and we can have a longer chat and
Yes,
have some more laughter and giggles and a
true.
cup of coffee. Thank you
Yes.
for inviting me and continue the good work because I think that your show is really making an impact in ways that matter. And I
Thank
think that's really important.
That's
That's really important.
extremely heartening to know. Thank you so much. It makes a lot of difference because you're putting in the work and then, you get that kind of an affirmation.
Yeah, a lot of work. It is a lot of work. I know. I think after 10 episodes, I just like, I'm so tired. I can't do it anymore. It's a lot of work talking to somebody else. Definitely. Thank you for having me. And all
Thank,
the best for your book and for all your literary ventures.
thank you. Thank you. And all the best to you as well.